Hey, good evening, everybody. If you're out there listening to this, it is a special live edition. I am in the office Saturday night. I had to come back here just do some I redid the office. So I was doing some putting up some shades and stuff and cleaning it up and getting ready because this next week we're gonna have a special show on Wednesday. So that was one of the reasons I'm putting out this video to announce that show. We're gonna have a trader roundtable live. Of course, we'll have our show throughout the day. It's every day. Every day the market's open, the show is going on from 8:30 in the morning until 4. And then, again, a lot of special shows at night, including this one, which I'm not sending out anything. I'm actually doing it for my own personal records. We're going to be discussing the bot that I've been building over the last 3 or 4 months. And each week I try to do an update on that, or at least if I find a reason to do an update, I want to update it. So I will update you on the progress on that right now and kind of update you on that new show, or actually a special roundtable show. Tight Stops will be coming up to the office. I think J-Dub will be here. Anthony, I'm sure, will be here. And that'll be Wednesday. That'll be February 20th. February 20th, coming up next week, Wednesday. So stay tuned, put that on your calendar, look for that. It should go into the evening too. We'll have a good time. All these things are kind of, they take their own course. But they're fun to be on. So let's get to the main discussion today, the bot. Again, the bot can be seen every day on Day Trading Radio. Day Trading Radio, again, I broadcast live the markets, trading live, chat rooms, trading rooms, watch list, everything. Just go to DayTraderRockStar. It'll give you all the information. Even though it's not a radio, it's a live stream show. I'm thinking of actually changing the name just to the DayTraderRockStar show, just to give it more of that interactive feel and not be classified as radio, because honestly, it's not really radio. It just was a great name I came up with 20 years ago or something. So look for that. So the bot has been just a project that once I started it, I enjoyed the process, and now we're starting to add things to the site to actually give value to the more to the members of anything. So we were able to actually talk about the bot, show the bot live. Most of the bot, when you see my the scripts and stuff, I'm using the Ninja Trader platform, which is kind of, and I'm not a programmer myself. I had to learn this from ground up, just like going to 8th grade and learning BASIC, if you know what that is. Probably half of the people don't even know what that is. Anyway, I just had to learn it and, start programming my method into it in the best way I could through trial and error, and eventually started seeing good results. And then, the progress, learning how to mark those results, using a sim to take those trades and work on our exits and stuff. So a lot of things have been, now getting the alerts out on the website, so you also get alerted to any of the trades. All that's been working nonstop around the clock almost. So I got the alerts working just about, I would say 80% of the time. I know how to get them working. I just have to sit down and do them. The scripts, I am, jumping back and forth. I made my own Divergence script, but the original, what we call the original gangster script, is by far leading that in returns today, or this week alone, actually. I'll show you some of the, I'll show you this. I always go back to the strategy analyzer here, and that you're able to plug in. You're able to, I hope this works. There it is. Hold on. All right, sorry I had to come back here. I had to stop the video, restart it, do some other things. But basically, I want to get back to an update on the bot here, and I think we were just discussing. Right now, I'm working with 3 scripts, 3 strategies. One's called the Original Gangster. It's one of the original scripts I've been working on with a good friend of mine who's a coder, and that one is the best performing one. And then I worked on a couple Divergence scripts myself, trying to code in or script out the Divergence method that I use when I typically trade the futures. And I've gotten that down really pretty good. I mean, there is always a lag here, before a situation, or there's some things that I could improve on. But like I said, after 4, 5, 6 months of doing this, it's coming along nice. Now you could actually watch it every day, so you can see. But I'm not. What I've learned about this in the last six months is that most trading bots and algorithms here are doomed to fail. I mean, the market here is going to recognize levels that these things level, and they come back and it takes it out. And there's always someone out there better that's going to have a better script, and it's going to just take the orders down. But the method is sound. When I look at my divergences, I could continue to say I have a higher probability of trading successfully if I trade a divergence. It's just I can't put it in the hands of a bot with my trailing stops and stuff. It just seems to have a hard time managing a current position. So what I'm using the bot now for, and I've decided to, set the alerts, is to have that hands-on approach here. Let's get alerted to the setup. I double check it, confirm it, and take the trade, or at least let it take the trade, and then let me have hands-on if I decide when I want to get out. Because lots of times we'll get a great divergence here, divergence sword here, very easy to spot. Nice move down to a profit target. Then we get an original gangster setup and a nice push back up to a nice profit here. And these things work really well, but in lots of cases over time, especially if it's hard to run this 24/7, the overnight trades are not as, it could be choppy and, tend to chop things up. So unless you really trade the bot in a very good time frame, you could get chopped up like in some cases, even on a dull market. So you have to know when to turn it on and know when to turn it off, know how it's working, know what the underlying levels are. Here's a nice little divergence back here, nice little run. And, what I like about the original gangster is it's coded in a short-term trend indicator. And that takes us out of the position, even if we're in a position or out of a, whatever. If we hit our target or not, it takes us out when it feels a little bit of weakness. And that, I think, is a big reason. There's my dog. A big reason why this is the best working the best work. Hey, Jesus! I apologize for my dogs. I brought them to the office today so they wouldn't be home alone. But they are not familiar with the environment, so they're barking at every little noise they hear. All right, so that's what we're looking at right now. And again, go back. Let me tighten this up a little. All right, so this is, again, 3 scripts being run on this: the divergence short, and the original gangster. 2 divergence setups. And as you can see, we go back, and what I'd like to do is just go back and see. Here's an original gangster divergence, a beautiful divergence here, a very nice high or low, and a nice run up. And again, we left off on that one. Let's take a look. Oh man, let me fix that. Okay, here's my divergence long setup, and that candle right here is lower than the candle, high or low. And look at that nice move, and it hit our profit target easy on this. And and this is the area. I mean, you could have a fantastic trade here, and it could go much higher because it's a 10-point move actually, this one. But I only took the script. I just wanted to identify, make sure everything works properly. So you give us a short-term target, 2 points here, I believe it is. Maybe not even. Maybe it was 6 ticks. And so just to kind of confirm the strategy. But as you can see, lots of times the divergence setups are the biggest setups of the day, and coding this to be able to continue to hold this position as my next big task. So if you have any suggestions on that, definitely send them my way. I don't want to use the 20-period moving average. I've been using the zigzag, but as you can see, sometimes we'll zig and continue to move higher. Lots of times, even on my stochastic indicator, sometimes it'll get overextended here real fast and then be embedded. But it's, what? That's just the name of the game. The important thing is consistency, being able to identify the divergences. Here's another nice divergence and a nice move up, profit target hit. So this thing is working fantastic, and I'm so happy about that. It doesn't work 100%, but nothing does, you know. And there's going to be news out there. There's going to be I let this thing run into the overnight. I let it run at the open where there's a lot of chop, and I tell people, I said, this is going to be choppy, or I'll watch it take a position. I'll see a triple stochastic flag setup, which is a bullish setup, and I might see a short here. And I'll say, this is, be careful, because once you get a rotation here, it's going to move back up. So you might have a good trade here. You might have got a point or two, but look how fast you got a rotation here. You have to be able to see these in real time and say, or make a call there. You can't just all right, I want to let this on and just let me take it out if we come back up and then move back down. It's just very, put yourself out there when you put it all in the hands of the bot. So I like the entry levels, to identify the entry levels for us, and then kind of even take the entries and then manually take the exits if we're in front of the screen. Here's a divergence short right here. And again, this is such a big candle that you could actually push, and this is pre-market too. It chopped around just fine. Here's another example of what happens when you have too many scripts on. Sometimes it gets so choppy, I'll get an original gangster script, take it off. Then we get a divergence short. It comes down into a divergence long. The short didn't get stopped out yet, but the long takes a position. So now you have a short and a long on. The market moves higher, takes out the short, but continues to take up and get a profit on the long. So again, the choppiness of this, which you might be able to read into before you even get into a position, a short or a long. Excuse me. All right, I was just working on the alerts, so I just set up the alerts for the divergence strategy. We're going to be testing that next week, probably midweek to end of the next week. I should have it all set up, but I am just decided to go with that divergence strategy. It'll be a divergence strategy that I wrote, and yeah, I'm happy with that one for now, even though we could easily get more. Remember, the whole concept is to be alerted to the setup, being able to either make our own decision on the price or when to get out also. I will continue to work on the management of the profits and the management of the stop. We experimented with some different trailing stops, multiple contracts. I think that's just the next phase of it. Now, that's really going to increase our profitability is when we actually are able to manage our contracts, meaning multiple contracts. At least we got to have at least two, preferably three or more, and then being able to scale out and letting some run to take full advantage of all the moves. So that's looking forward to that, and I want to get this out. I got other work to go to work on, but remember, we're going to have the bot should be up and running Monday. It's a half a day Monday, but the rest of the week always on DTR2 and Day Trading Radio, that is. And then Wednesday, we're going to have a special show for you, nighttime show, Traders Roundtable. We'll talk more about that. I'll send out more emails about that, but you could mark that on your calendar for this Wednesday coming up. You don't want to miss it. All right. Take care, everyone. Talk to you soon.